Hi, it's Chris Watkin here, joined again by Richard Rawlings, estate agency guru and trainer. Richard, you train estate agents both in the UK, South Africa, and on the other side of the world. What perplexes me is that I can count the number of estate agency trainers on my two pinky hands. We have over 14,000 individual estate agency companies in the UK. Yet if you go to Australia, which is a fifth of the size, you could probably list out 50, 60, 100 trainers.
Yeah.
Why is the UK so bad at training their estate agency staff?
Very good, very good question, Chris. It is remarkable, and I think there's a very clear reason for it in my view, and it's the reason why agency fees are cheaper as well in this country. The agency in this country evolved from estate management, where selling a property was sort of a favour you would do as part of your management of that estate, and you just charge a nominal commission just for handling that sale. Whereas in the New World countries, it is a sales job where you employ a salesperson to sell your property. And in fact, in other sales situations, in other industries, a reasonable referral commission, if you contact most service industries and say, I've got some business for you, would you share 15% of your commission? Generally, that's a reasonably acceptable amount, 15%. And here we are charging 1%, 2%. The rest of the world are charging, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10%. So that's the first thing on fees, my little bugbear, as you know. But I think the reason, so in that environment where we know it is a sales environment, it's regarded as a more sales environment, where you do sales train to train people to sell. And it's also more of a brokerage model over there as well, where you have a central broker and lots of agents. They move from brokerage to brokerage, and it's a bit incestuous. But that broker is there to provide services to those agents in order to keep them working for the brokerage. They've got to do something to keep them. It's not a regular employment sort of situation. I've worked under both. It's very interesting. But here, of course, in our rather cottage industry, with all respect to it, I love agents, it is a cottage industry, and very often the person who's running a 1, 2, 3 branch, 4 branch firm business, that person who's running it started off as maybe a value negotiator, a junior, and learned what he or she now knows from their boss, and that person learned it from their boss. So you're learning via osmosis. You only know what your predecessor knew, and that's why we don't really progress.
Which is probably they learnt it from being a countrywide valuer back in the 90s.
Absolutely. And so, if I were to approach agents and say, oh, you need some training, and say, don't worry, I'm the manager, I do all the training. But that's in a way the worst person, because how limited is it? They don't know they're limited. You don't know what you don't know. But my job as a trainer, I don't really do sort of train the basics. I train...
You're more development than training.
Innovation industry. I think if someone's going to give you the business, it's because you're amazing. So I train how to be amazing. I don't train how to be basic. If you're not already basically good, you're in the wrong industry, or you're not being managed properly. But as I say, you don't know what you don't know, and it's about learning new stuff. And I've been in business 40 years. I'm still enjoying learning new stuff. It's great.
One thing that always perplexes me about estate agency training is that the boss never goes on the training.
That is a real bugbear of mine. Not never. The good ones, they do. But when they don't, I have a problem. And in fact, I say to them, you are coming, aren't you, on the training? And because you get some agents who come along, it's a big day for them. Their company is investing in them. Hopefully, they're going to take a decent venue. Stupid, horrible little venues, and you've got to buy your own sandwiches. What is that saying? What sort of management is that? And then when their boss doesn't come either, they feel unsupported. So no matter what goes on in that room, all the new ideas, all the excitement, and I send them away championing causes. Are you going to, right, I say to everyone, what did you take away from today? What are you going to definitely commit to? And it's not just, I'm going to get better at customer service. That's too fluffy. What are you actually going to do? And everybody has to commit to doing something that is going to progress. And if their boss isn't there and he hasn't experienced the training, therefore doesn't know why they want to do this, he's going to say, oh yeah, I don't know about it. We've never done that. I don't know if that would work. It seems like a good idea, but I know better because so
do you think there's a lot of bosses out there that just write a check just to tick the box?
I wish more would, actually. Yeah, no. I think anyone who does train, often it's because they feel there's a problem and they'd like to solve the problem. Don't get me wrong, the good agents generally they do come along, but then those who do come along, sometimes it goes the other way. You've got an enthusiastic director comes along, sits there on the training, front of the class, he knows all the answers, so he's putting his hand. Everyone's sitting back because they don't have to put their hand up and answer anything, because if their boss is doing it, well, they're not going to supersede their boss, are they? So if a director does come along, they should come along, sit at the back, keep quiet, and make a few little contributions from time to time to reinforce.
Do you think bosses actually know what they want from their training?
That's an interesting one as well, because I occasionally do get bosses, employers, directors. You say, right, Richard, this is what I want. I want these you to come and train my agents how to do this, and follow up and da. And he's given me a list of all the things that he's failed to manage them to do himself or herself. So there's a fine line between training and management. For me, training is learning new stuff, how to do new stuff. Management is the application of that training in the field. That's why they have to be there in the first place. But don't ask me to just do what you should be managing anyway. Well, some trainers probably would, I don't know, but I'm more interested in picking up that agency. Okay, you've done it for 5, 10, 15 years. You've proven that's what you do. You've got a 1% market share. Let's now do something different, maybe. Okay. So, yeah.
So the issue is, A, being called out, but probably even more is once you've been called out, making sure that the circle gets finished off with the boss, A, being there, but also making sure it gets implemented and it gets back.
Yes, because what I do is before I even go around there, when I send my proposal through, I'll send them an agency analysis worksheet and ask them all sorts of facts and figures, confidential, don't have to fill everything in, but a lot there that tells me about their business. Because in a way, I don't really want them to tell me what they need, because with all respect to them, it may not be what they need. They think it's what they want. When I see that analysis, I can immediately spot from my own benchmarks, clearly I can see they've got a fantastic, they're really good at getting round to do market appraisals, but their conversion rate, 30%, what's going on there? And then when I see that they lose a certain amount of their stock, well, they're obviously valuing high to get the instruction, they can't sell, and there's so many connections going on, and I come in a helicopter view, I can tell from that what I feel they should be trained in. And my job's not just to train, it's to help provide some solutions.
Why do you think, again, if you go to Australia and South Africa, a lot of the employed staff actually out of their own pocket pay for their own training and development?
Yeah. Well,
that's unheard of in the UK.
Yeah, well, they are on a more self-employed sort of basis, and they do earn much higher commission, not just the percentage fee, but the agent will take maybe 50, 60, 70, even 95% in some instances of the agency commission. But in Australia, they need to cover a certain amount of CBD points every year to retain their license. So they have to tick boxes and go on the courses. I've had people come on the course and leave after a moment, after a few minutes, just to tick the box that they've been there. That wasn't my session, by the way. In fact, I had one where the guy with the venue said, "Rich, I can't believe nobody left." I said, "Oh, thank you very much." He said, "No, you don't get it here. People pay to come on courses and they don't stick it because they're not interested, it's just to tick the box." He said, "So well done, they stayed." No, and also in the States also it's, I mean, you think you've got competition in the UK. I did a quick calculation. In the UK, there is one estate agent for every 1,971 people. One estate agent for every 1,971 people in the UK. In the States, one estate agent for every 226 people.
Wow.
So it's far more competitive over there, but it's much more localized. And so you'll get agents who are, again, they need to retain their license. But again, when they're trying to get business in their area, they're really saying, "I've had this training, here's my qualification, here's this. Because you've got a choice. They all do the same thing because they draw from the same pool of buyers. They're all on multi-listing. They have to shine. So, of course, they want to get all the training under their belt. But in this country, for me, it's about learning new skills, and we're way behind.
And what would be interesting to work out is what's the agent to trainer ratio in all the countries?
Yes, very interesting. I don't know. Yeah.
Richard, thank you for that amazing insight. And if you need training, then one option certainly is to speak with Richard.
Other trainers are available.
Thank you for your time today. But not many of them, because there aren't many of them in the UK, is there?